My family on my mom's side is just, full of military history. But I didn't want to join the military at all. I felt like, the rest of the family's got it covered. But I remember September 11th happening. For me, it was just what you do.
I just really wanted to be in the military. So I was in ROTC in high school, and I had my ROTC instructor. He saw something in me and was like, you can go to one of the academies. So there wasn't really any defining moment why I wanted to join the Army. I just always had the desire to be an officer, and if I was going to do it, I might as well do and be the best I could. So that's why I chose to go to West Point. I spent 4 years at a school where you do nothing but plan, hope, and make dreams of what you're going to do in the military when you graduate. And all I got cut short in 2.5 years. And I had dreams after I got out of the military. I had dreams to go into the FBI, and they turned me down for PTSD. I spent a whole year going into the FBI process. I passed the phase 1 testing, phase 2 testing, interviews, background checks, the PT test, polygraph, and the very last second they send you what's called the thin letter, and it said, you were discharged from the Army for post-traumatic stress disorder. Pretty much, you're not fit to carry a weapon in service. And my first thought was, screw you, I carried a weapon in service to this country, you tell me I can't do it again? And that's the thing about PTSD, you get PTSD if you get in a car wreck. It's just the fact that soldiers come back with a little bit more traumatic experiences, they got this nomenclature now of PTSD where they think we're all gonna, unfortunately, flip our lids and shoot somebody.
The first deployment, our goal was to take down Saddam, to go to Baghdad. We were in Mosul, and our mission was to take over, to clean it up. We had a mission, and we knew what it was. I was starting to get an idea of what war was going to be, and then we go on the second deployment that threw everything out the window.
We were flying by the seat of our pants. That's what frustrated me most as a platoon leader, is that I get asked the questions, why? Why are we doing this? Why? And I want to tell them why we're doing this. I turn around and ask my commander, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Yeah, we're just doing it, Here's your task and purpose, that's all you need to know. No, I don't need just task and purpose, give me the bigger picture. It's like having a Porsche but no wheels to drive it.
Yeah.
We were awesome inside the company, but there was nothing outside.
And if you couldn't control
yeah,
who was putting you somewhere that was stupid, well, then you're just setting us up for failure. And that's what we were living in.
We're not back in the States where we need busy work.
Yeah.
You walk out the wire, somebody can get killed. I'm not just going to go out there for the heck of it.
I've always told people that to be a really good soldier, you have to accept death. You have to go in saying, I'm going to die, and if you come out alive, you're like, oh, well, I lived. I think it was Smith. He asked me, he was like, what are we doing here? And I was like, we're just waiting for our turn to die, because that's what it felt like. That deployment was just one mistake after another.
Yeah. There was no direction whatsoever. I didn't think it was going to go as bad as it did. Like I said earlier, when First Sergeant Skiddis said, we're going to lose a lot of people, I was just like, yeah, whatever. There's no way. And sure enough, we did.
A battalion sat at this big camp, and they wanted more gravel.
I remember coming back and going into our platoon. You got guys that already got DVD players out and getting ready to wind down, take a nap, or go to sleep. And I was like, I need 8 guys. We're standing right there outside where the trucks were. And I was like, let me drive. And they're like, no, you're not driving. I said, let me drive. I never get to drive. Because we're not going anywhere. We're just going right down the road. I know exactly where it is. We can do it in the dark. And he's like, no, I'm driving. But I was like, all right, whatever. That's just who I am. He wants to drive, you can drive. And we went down this road called Route Fat Boy. And like I said, we've been on this road hundreds of times. And we came on a curve, and I saw this huge tumbleweed. And within a split second, I thought, that's not supposed to be there. I bet that's a bomb. And bam. It's a bright, bright flash, huge explosion. I can still taste smoke and glass in my face. I remember the explosion. I remember getting rocked. I remember waking up in the canal. We had a gunner named Ryan Davis, and he's kind of, moaning, oh, my leg hurts. And I'm like, Davis, you all right? He says, yeah, I think so. I said, Galloway, you good? Silence. And I can't see anything, just silence. I said, Noah, you all right? Nothing. So our first thought is, shit. And I had a flashlight, and I pulled out my flashlight, and that's when I saw Noah, and I was like, oh my God. And he was still breathing. He was kind of just laying there, and I can see that he was still breathing, and he was moaning and making noise, and shoot, I was scared. And I expected, because our 2 trucks are behind us, and I expected, sure enough, I'm gonna look up, and here comes the cavalry for the rescue. And I turn around, there's nobody. I was waiting any moment for small arms fire or some kind of ambush, secondary attack, anything. I was just waiting. In all honesty, I got down on a knee and I prayed. And sure enough, my 2 trucks come back. Fuller, who's the Christian, he was one of the squad leaders, and I was like, look, I said, we gotta get Noah out of the truck. And he was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, he never cussed.
Never cussed, never. I jump on the radio. It's like, get my hold of my company commander. I said, we've been hit. Galloway's hurt really bad. You know, my arm's broken. Davis is fine. We need some people. We're not gonna be able to pull them out. And he's like, I got no one to send you. Nobody. Sure enough, another convoy comes by, and Noah was gone. He went in the truck ahead of me, obviously, and I got my gear, and I jumped in the truck, go back to the aid station, and walk in and see Noah. And I remember looking at Captain Segui. I was like, how's he doing? I just, look on his face was like, no idea. I don't lie, I was crying, I was upset, I was deeply distraught, and Segui was like, you need to get out here. I said, I can't. And I was like, and he's, oh, okay. And they put us on the helicopter, and in the middle of the flight, Noah just sits straight up again, and like, holy crap, something's gonna happen. And then it's just funny because the medic just takes his fist and jams it in Noah's forehead and holds him there. Then Noah starts spinning circles, and his arm's still dangling. It's kind of like his arm got wrapped around, and I mean, now it's funny because you're alive, but then I was like, wow. But after that, we got back to, I went one way, Noah went the other way. Noah's got the physical injuries. I remember it just clear as day. I'll never forget it. I always relive it, but the way PTSD is, you cope with it over time. I think my wife and I, we just coexisted for the first year and a half of my son's life. And you know, she has a whole different perspective on it, because what she will tell you is that the Jerry that she sent off to war was not the Jerry that came home. I don't know, we got in a lot of fights, and I was just pissed off. And I made a lot of things I already said earlier. I was confused. I wanted to be back in Iraq, but I didn't want to go back. I felt bad for what happened to Noah. I felt bad for leaving my men over there. Just all this other stuff, and I didn't know what was going on. Trying to process all these emotions, and the baby being born, and oh man, it was brutal, absolutely brutal. And I remember there's times at night when we lay in bed, and I told her, I said, if it wasn't for Keith, I'd be gone right now. Now that's totally different. And right now, I mean, as much as I joke around, I love her and I love my kids.
She quit saying my name during sex.
She did. She quit saying that. He's the only one to get away with that one, by the way.
People in general change.
Yeah.
As time goes on, and it's just what experiences you have in life that sends you on what path. You may be able to say, well, I do this certain thing, it may have to relate to this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you've changed, but then if you really want to break it down, Larissa's not the same person she was a long time ago.
No,
so,
she's not.
Yeah, so
she's changed too, yeah.
Yeah, so what has shaped me and what has shaped you from experiences that we've had in Iraq and things like that, yeah, they make it that now there's things that we don't stress about that other people will, because we've seen worse.
We have this picture that is what I think of is that she took the day that we deployed, and actually Ben took it. My buddy Ben, who was killed, he took the picture of me and Larissa, and I'm holding her and she's crying, and I look at that as the pre-Jerry, and now I'm the post-Jerry, which there's a lot of good things about it. There's also some bad things, you know, but a lot of good things. I'm thankful for a lot more, and I got this idiot to hang around with now, tag along, but.
Good information I got from my dad with him being an amputee was I had 2 options, and it was either be a legalized drug addict or quit all the medication I was on and move on. And I quit everything cold turkey, and I remember it being the most miserable week of my life. After like a year or so of not drinking, I thought I'd beaten the system. I was at least smart enough. I never drank when my son was there. So it basically turned into drinking every other weekend to the only time I didn't drink was every other weekend. I think I went through a phase where, for a long time, where I was like, no one else understands. They don't know what I know. But it was actually my uncle, the Vietnam vet, who told me, he said, don't ever doubt another veteran you come across. You may have lived in shit, but he lived somewhere else in shit. You know, and it was really big for me to hear that from him, because I was looking at everybody like, you don't know. You know, you weren't shit on like we were. You know, it was like I would get one emotion after another. Like it was like 1 second, I was like, it's no big deal. You know, I'll just live my life. And the next minute, I was angry. The next minute, I was crying. I do regret I didn't spend a lot of time with other veterans. At the hospital, I had a doctor ask me why I didn't spend time with any of the other guys. And I said, why would I hang around with a whole bunch of cripples? Because I felt like I was above that. I was an arrogant jerk. They probably didn't want to hang out with me either.
I was the same way. I don't know. It must be. I was the same way. They try to go to these groups and groups and talk and this. I don't know. I don't want to go to groups with other people and hear about their problems.
No.
Yeah.
After all of that, I joined a 24-hour gym and was working out like 2 in the morning. I didn't want people to see me working out. I was at this point where I wanted people like you and Ashley and all these other people to be able to say Noah's doing great, you know. And so for you to call and say, hey, do you think you can do this race? And we did it together. Was huge. I actually convinced myself I was doing it for you, you know, because I was getting back in shape and I was like, I'm gonna do this with Jerry for Jerry. And it was huge for me.
It was awesome.
That race is what kicked it off for me to just do one race after another and another.
I knew you would benefit from it, doing something. You weren't being lazy by any means, but something to get you out and challenge you. I was like, this would be good for him.
So I was doing it trying to help you, and you were doing it to help me.
That's right.